Hello, friends and neighbors. It's me. I've got my Deadpool shirt. I have got my Magneto pin that I got from the theater. Thank you very much. And I'm here to review X-Men Apocalypse. Now, when I saw the reviews for this film, I was actually very intrigued considering how mixed they were. The film is certainly currently sitting at a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's lower than X-Men The Last Stand. Now, there is a joke in the film that says that the third film in a trilogy is usually the worst one. And while I can see that's a quick jab at X-Men The Last Stand, it's unfortunately the case for X-Men Apocalypse. But does that make it a bad film? No. In fact, it is leagues ahead of The Last Stand. And overall, I think this trilogy, X-Men First Class and X-Men Days of Future Past and X-Men Apocalypse, work together to make a very well-done story, though clearly, unlike The Last Stand, this isn't the end for the McAvoy portion of the X-Men series. But anyway, let's get to the story. The story is that thousands of years ago, there was the first ever mutant, Apocalypse, played by Oscar Isaac, who is reincarnated back in the year 1983 and sees that the world has lost its way. He believes that since the world follows blind leaders, he should cleanse the world, which is a nice term for destroying it. And he has 4 horsemen of the apocalypse lead him into this objective to destroy the world. These horsemen include Storm, Magneto, played by Michael Fassbender, Angel, and Psylocke, played by Olivia Munn. I haven't seen her since G4. Anyways, it is ultimately up to the X-Men, this time led by Mystique, played by Jennifer Lawrence, to save the world, because Professor X has been taken away by Apocalypse, as Apocalypse plans to use him as his new body, because since he's amassed several powers over the years, he's been able to basically become this ultimate super mutant that the X-Men initially can't possibly defeat. So the story is much more straightforward here than the stories in X-Men First Class and X-Men Days of Future Past. It almost feels like those two films are like Marvel solo films to build up the characters, and this one is like an Avengers movie. Like, it's where all the storylines and all the characters meet up for one big blowout of superhero showdowns. And the actual showdowns are sorta kind of underwhelming. The fights are there. When the film gets ready for the actual fights, they are there, but the actual big blowout near the end is somewhat underwhelming. It does have some cool visuals. It does have the characters like Storm and Beast and Cyclops, and even Jean Grey doing some amazing things with their powers, but it really only comes near the end, and ultimately the fights aren't as cool as they were in Days of Future Past or even First Class. But there is someone who steals the show. Evan Peters is Quicksilver. And remember that sequence in the first film? Not in Days of Future Past, where he was able to take out an entire room of guards while listening to Time in a Bottle? Well, he has another scene like that, and it's just as funny. I won't spoil the scene for you guys, but let's just say it'll bring back memories of that scene, and it personifies why this version of Quicksilver is way better than the MCU Quicksilver. Not only that, but I thought the acting was pretty good across the board. McAvoy and Fassbender are, of course, great as Professor X and Magneto, but the newcomers are pretty good too. The actress they chose to play Storm was a pretty good replacement for Halle Berry. Olivia Munn, even though she's only given a few lines, is very convincing as Psylocke. And my favorite actors are actually the new trio of Nightcrawler, Cyclops, and Jean Grey. I believe they're played by Cody Smith-McPhee for Nightcrawler, Ty Sheridan for Cyclops, and Sophie Turner for Jean Grey. All of them did a great job, and if they're in the next movie, or if their actors are in the next movie, I'd love to see them again. And of course we have Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse. While his voice is amazing, and I really think they did a good job adapting the character to the big screen, he is pretty cliche. He just wants to destroy the world, and because he thinks it can't be saved. That's sort of all there is to him. It's not like he has no character, it's just not much. I mean, granted, he's not as lackluster of a villain as some Marvel films have had, but let's just say I prefer Magneto as a villain to Apocalypse as a villain. Even though Magneto in this version is more just hired muscle for Apocalypse for a good portion of the film, as one of his horsemen. The effects are pretty darn dazzling, as not only in Quicksilver's scene, but pretty much through all the fights, all of the powers used feel like a big screen, big budget versions of the comic books you'd read. I don't know if all of the events in this film are the same as the events of Age of Apocalypse. They're probably not, but the battles and the effects that they actually use are pretty exciting once the film finally gets to it. Yeah, the thing is, the film takes a bit of time for it to be truly exciting. I mean, it starts exciting and it ends exciting, but the middle portion of it drags in a few places, especially in one place where without spoiling anything, some of the X-Men are taken to a facility where Colonel Stryker is, because, yeah, we need Stryker again. And it seems like that scene's only there to, one, extend the film by about 15 to 20 minutes, and to get a quick Wolverine cameo. Personally, I thought, while it was cool, it's a bit unnecessary. Though it does make me excited for his next movie. So, I bet you're thinking, did I like this film or not? Well, it's not the best X-Men film of the bunch, but I'm glad that I saw it. It still has some amazing scenes that are difficult to say not to go see it. So in a strange way, I think it's the worst of the First Class trilogy, but I still recommend it. And I think whatever the next X-Men film will be, whether it's going to be another Weapon X storyline or maybe a X-Men film in the 90s, I'm excited. I really want to see where the series goes. So, that's why I give X-Men Apocalypse a 7.5 out of 10. See it in the theaters if you can. It certainly will make you want to get your mutant on. See you later.